But we're about to go racing for this final round of Endurance Cup, the Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS, the final endurance race of the season. It is 3 hours of racing, and let's see how the race and the championships pan out. Lights go green, blast off here in Spain. The Ferraris get good starts, and they try to go toe-to-toe with a really brave effort being made by Daniel Serra on the inside. This is Raffaele Marcello's view down towards turn one. The two Ferraris trying to out-drag the Lamborghini on the outside line there that has got Jordan Pepper at the wheel of it. It is going to be Alessio Rivera that leads, but is it a Ferrari 1-2? No, not quite, because right there is Pepper, but now he's on the outside line. I think that was Marcello being roughed up a little bit in the Mercedes. He ran slightly wide. Others have been off the road coming out of turn 2. So a frantic start. Jordan Pepper there running out of road on the exit of 3. Hard on the brakes into turn 4. It's Ferraris 1 and 2, and a bit of contact. Has that sorted out the Lamborghini? It has. That's Jordan Pepper in the gravel already.
Well, not surprising that the battle between the Ferrari and the Lamborghini started before they got into turn 1, and it concluded going into turn 4, and that's a disappointment for the car that shared the front row of the grid. But the two Ferraris wanted to get their two cars ahead of the Lamborghini. They knew the challenge that Lamborghini represented.
Marcello in 88. He had made a decent start, gained some ground. He's lost a spot there, though, to number 96 of Dennis Olsen that goes through. Porsche champion, GT star Dennis Olsen, IGTC champion a few years back, remember? And he's moved himself ahead of Marcello, but Raffaele is ahead of the number 98 Rover Racing BMW that's absolutely mired in traffic. Look at this huge queue of cars coming down towards turn 10. And there, the two Rover BMWs side by side, but hung out to dry on the outside in 98 is Philip Eng. Needs to jump ahead of his teammate, Neil Verhagen, at the wheel of it. I think Verhagen is working out where he can let him go. And here in replay, Valentino Rossi getting a bit sideways and bouncing off the Enrico Chavez McLaren. That's down at 7, and he has a wild old ride, does Valle?
Yes, in the course of that contact, he pushed himself off the racetrack between 7 and 8, down the inside. Well, it didn't work, but there was certainly a threat from the K-Pax Lamborghini. And again, Charles Weerts is going to have to keep us on his toes.
Raffaele, having run wide up at turn 12, really just needs to sit there. Doesn't have to attack, as long as they're ahead of BMW 98. Job done. So Raffaele needs to keep out of trouble.
Look at this battle. Verhagen trying to find a way past Pereira, down into turn 1. And 30 as a whole.
That's Weerts right on the outside, and he benefits. So it was Verhagen that tried to trigger the move, and it didn't work. And so up the inside now, 32 BMW was the one trying to challenge the Lamborghini. And here we've had the change. Marcello has got himself up past Dennis Olsen. So he's not prepared just to sit there, is he? He's prepared to attack, and again, Raffaele Marcello gets out his bucket and spade, heading up towards turn 12 and finds the gravel. Has that Porsche got a problem, or its tyres going off quicker than other brands? Because Marcello was able to make a big dive up the inside, and through he went. And Dennis Olsen powerless to stop him. And as I say, he's now got Drouet closing as well as he falls back from Marcello. That was a good dive.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very late move. Dennis Olsen allowed room to work. He didn't shut the door and have the resultant contact and possibly both cars leaving the racetrack. So a big move by Marcello. He saw the opportunity, and it was the cooperation from Dennis Olsen, in my view, that made that overtake possible. Look at this. Oh, what's happening? Can he make it work?
Not there. Eng tried to get alongside the Audi. Look for the undercut coming through the corner, but he's on the outside line at 3. He's got to get up the inside here to make a move at 4. This has been Eng's best chance, but then a bit of a twitch, and he suddenly loses 2 lengths.
From Simon Gachet, and what's happening to the rear tyre, right rear tyre has disappeared from the inception. Charlie Fagg behind the wheel, and is he going to pull and stop? Oh, dear me, right at turn 7-8.
It's going to be a full course yellow to a safety car, presumably. And there in damage as well, Charles Weerts. Big damage. That's ripped a big chunk off the back of the car.
Massive amount of rear bodywork damage, and it was with contact with the Lamborghini in turn 1.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a pit stop. And how long will that pit stop take?
Well, for now, Charles Weerts carries on, but the danger here is that if that bodywork is attached and flapping, the officials will want that car in, because that could be dangerous to those behind.
Yeah, and that is a significantly large bit of bodywork. It'll probably fly off and almost into the windscreen. Now, they've got to do something. That bodywork has got to be removed, but they've got to put, a full course yellow at the minimum to ensure that that bodywork can be removed from the racetrack. And
yeah,
well, we're waiting just for race director to make that call.
Full course yellow in 10 seconds. And on instruction, we'll go full course yellow. Hopefully the marshal can just rush across the road, pick it up, Full course yellow called.
Look how closely bunched they're together. But the second place Ferrari has held back a little bit more. Lead car has gone. So Rivero's gone. Serra has put himself in a vulnerable position because Maro Engel might think he's got an opportunity down into turn one.
And also, look, Simon Gachet is on the attack because he's alongside Fred Verviche, and Philippe Eng wants to find a way through. Verviche to the inside line. He's going to try to defend. Gachet round the outside, and Gachet gains a place. So now Philippe Eng has another go at Gachet, side by side, down towards turn one. Audi on the inside, BMW to the outside. Eng does go round the outside, and he gives himself the line for turn two, and he's done it at last. Fantastic. Philippe Eng up in a ninth place. And Alex Malikin is in more trouble further up the hill. He's spun into turn 12. He's facing the wrong way.
I wonder, has he got a cut down a tyre? Or was that just maybe there was so much dust on the track as a consequence? He got caught out by it and he's just rotated.
Well, it's an odd place to spin, as now another effort is made. Down on the grass even there. Look, coming into the braking zone for turn one. That is incredibly brave indeed.
Oh, no, I think we're going to see Fred Verviche may have to concede that position.
So here we go in replay. Finlay Hutchison
Full course yellow
going
now.
wide, and there's Alex Malikin being forced out. Now, did that do the tyre? Look, it does look a bit spongy at the back. Gets to the next corner. Yeah, it's low.
Yes, it
It's
does.
down. It's a puncture. Round it goes.
I mean, immediately the tyre was... Oh! Wow, that's the reason why the car hasn't moved.
Yeah.
An impact on that left rear corner has not done the Porsche any good whatsoever.
And now goes, takes Daniel Serra with him. Raffaele Marcello on the back of Maro Engel as we go racing once more here in Barcelona down towards turn one. Marcello will have to defend from Dennis Olsen as much as think about making a move, but I think Olsen's almost alongside him. He is in the Porsche. Dennis Olsen is on his toes. Marcello needs to let him go. He doesn't want to get involved in contact, so the Porsche does move back up into fourth place. And it is Valentino Rossi who is in the gravel, and I can't see that getting out on its own, can you?
No, and it hasn't been Valentino's day. He's been in trouble all through the race with contact and running wide, and now he's in the gravel, and that car will probably need external assistance to get it removed. There he is out of the BMW, walking around. Well, you're in the gravel, Valentino. There's only one reason it's in the gravel. We don't think there's any contact. We don't know. It could have been an assist that saw him go off. We have to wait and see if there's any replays of that. So let's look and see. Oh no, he got a tank slapper coming through turn 7 and 8, and you know, and he should know all about tank slappers being from the MotoGP world. There it is. Once it was gone, and he got onto the dirtier part of the exit of turn 8, and the car just, the pendulum effect took over and reversed the car into the gravel, and the more he goes in, the deeper it comes. He actually nearly got on to, is that a, no, it's not access, it's just the dust coming up from the gravel being kicked out. Both Ferraris in. Double stacking is never always the easiest thing, but they're two independent operations. So which of the two Ferraris there is Philippe Eng getting out of the car? Likewise, at Mercedes, Raffaele Marcello is out, and the seat insert goes in for Timo Boguslavski. So both Ferraris rolling. Oh, and look at that, look at that. Like, a yellow flag was waved at the Mercedes as it came out ahead. Did he overtake or not?
Well, he was released from his pit box. That's fine, isn't it, in the pit lane? But what that does is put Fabien Schiller into the lead of the race, effectively. So Maxime Martin stands by, but I rather think that's going to be... Yeah, they've got to do this 10-second hold anyway, remember, because of causing a collision. But no, Maxime is going to jump in, so if they can keep the car in the race, they will. So we go back to green then. Cars come over the line. Fabien Schiller trying to get the tyres warm and also break the toe. Robert Schwarzman goes after him. Boguslavski is third. Let's see how Timur keeps the car in contention in this stint. Further back, Eng to the outside of Sjægaard. Can't make the move, not Eng, I mean Yellowly, down towards turn 1. Nikolai Sjægaard in the McLaren, fending him off for now.
Again, the Audi looks like it's just running wide up alongside, up into turn 9. Yes, but will the Audi hang in around the outside and try and maintain a side-by-side run down into turn 10 and therefore be in the pound seat coming into turn 10, which is what Matteo Drudi has successfully done. Great driving by both drivers.
Nice work done, Drudi back ahead.
Matteo Drudi just faced him down and ran outside of turn 9. Down, and now it's a reverse situation that we saw those 5-6 laps ago. Van der Linde will be looking to make the move up the inside, can he get the position? But Drudi's going to go with him and holds on, forces the BMW wide on the dirtier part of the racetrack, and now the high ground has gone back to Drudi. Well done, Sheldon van der Linde. You've managed to finally get away through, and having now done so, you've taken that place away, and Trudy will not have any reply to the move you've just made.
So 71 being told to prepare for a pit stop, but they've actually caught back up to Timo Boguslavski, haven't they? That gap had grown, and Regon has spent the hour stuck behind him with Heinrich and Muller in tow, and now the gaps have all come down again.
And you can probably hear the groan from Timo Boguslavski,
who stays out, and
Absolutely.
The other three bail.
Yeah, well, that's the only way they're going to find a way around the 88. So Boguslavski has been released, and he can go on and do what he was doing so successfully. But I would imagine the Acura ASP Mercedes-AMG GT, catch my breath, GT3 team is going to have to respond at the end of this lap that the car is on.
So there's the race leader still, Fabian Schiller, coming up to traffic. So that prompts them perhaps at Almanar Racing to bring him in rather than lose time behind the Barwell Lamborghini of Rob Collard at the wheel now.
That would make sense, because why lose time when you can make a pit stop? And again, just one lap after the group of lead cars. And look at this charge down the pit lane. And where are we? The Ferrari comes out ahead of the Porsche that we had Heinrich behind the wheel. So an opportunity to find a way around a car if the driver's not dialed in as quickly as others around.
Away goes Gounon. The Ferraris have got themselves back together again. And Jules dropping back in the pack a little bit, look, because the Porsche has jumped him. So that means that track position has been won over now by Thomas Preining in the Rutronic car. Third quick lap of the race, Lucas Stoltz. Whoops, is there oil down there? Because all of a sudden two cars have had a spin. Or was that just a coincidence? When you've got 11 in the gravel, that's Christopher Haase. This is the external shot. Have a look at the Mercedes, tags the Lamborghini. So that's being looked at by race control.
I mean, it's difficult to say on the opening lap. You might say, if you're generous, that might have been a racing incident.
So we go back racing, down towards turn one. Lucas Stoltz gets away. Dennis Lynn tries to get through the traffic, which he does, and also Nicholas Nielsen tries to get through. Thomas Preining gets roughed up on the curb there. Look, he's trying to get past Romain Larue with the Aston Martin. And we understand that Mauro Engel and the team manager of Treble 7 have got to go to the stewards immediately after the race. So what happens on track may not be the end of the story.
No, David, what happens on the podium? That's going to be the story.
There you've got Thomas Preining through the traffic, but he's lost ground against Antonio Fuoco. So Lucas Stoltz pulling away up front. And right now, Lucas Stoltz, the on-the-road leader. It would be a shame, wouldn't it, if we get to the end of 3 hours and then discover there's a penalty coming to this car, rather than knowing about it during the race. And equally for the team, they could address it during the race, but it's been looked at.
Yeah. Oh, a Porsche. Which one is that? Is that?
Looks like 56, isn't it?
Okay.
Daniele Di Amato out of silver, was third in the class. There it is, coming out of turn 3. Just never makes the corner. We're going full course yellow again. Full course yellow in 20 seconds. So yet again, the race is being interrupted.
Car 777, car 777, 5-second time penalty added to the final racing time for causing a collision with car 63.
So from lap 1, on lap 81, the decision comes that a 5-second penalty is handed to the race leader, and more than ever now, that car needs racing laps to try and pull out 5 seconds worth of a gap. And look, Nicholas Nielsen almost overlapping there. Lucas Stoltz has gone. He accelerates away coming out of 12, blasts clear and dives into 13. Push, push, push. Now, Lucas Stoltz has got to drive a qualifying session to try to eke out 5 seconds, and he's got less than 10 minutes to do it if he wants to hang on to the race win. The two Ferraris run together, second and third. They need to work together and not fight. If they fight, they delay each other, and it's 0.6 of a second going on to lap 83, down towards turn 1. Stoltz has got to push like never before, and actually there, look, Fuoco had a tentative look to the inside of Nielsen, so maybe there could be a fight between those cars. Dennis Lynn has let Gounon go. And the Ferraris need to keep out of trouble because they could inherit the win here.
Well, they more than likely have one car take victory, and the other car could maybe sneak in and get second place because...
Oh, another one off. So with 8.5 minutes on the clock, off the road has gone... Is that Ezequiel Perez Compact, possibly? That looked like it was at turn 5. And off the road now has gone Lucas Auer in number 3 with 2 minutes to go. And where is that? It's up at turn 12. You can see it out of the window.
Yeah,
He's up at turn 12. He's a long way off the racetrack. less than 2 minutes to go. Let's see what happened.
The argy-bargy trying to make the best of it and trying to squeeze up the inside and running behind the Ferrari, and all of a sudden, bang!
And it's number 12, Audi, that gets into him. So yellow flags are out. The checkered flag is at the ready. Lukas Stoltz takes the flag on the road, but the win will go the way of AF Corsa. The Ferraris come through. Nicholas Nielsen comes across the line ahead of Antonio Fuoco. We'll wait for the penalty to be applied, and there are 2/3 of the championship winning team, and there's the final piece of the jigsaw. Jules Gounod, Raffaele Marciello, Timo Bogoslawski win Endurance Cup overall. Jules Gounod celebrates as he brings the car across the line. So here's the result, provisionally, of the race with Alessio Rovera, Robert Schwartzman and Nicholas Nielsen taking the win from Antonio Fuoco, Daniel Serra and Davide Rigon. A 1-2 then for AF Corsa, Francorchamps Motors. Third, the Porsche of Thomas Preining, Lauren Heinrich and Dennis Olsen that was there all thereabouts all race. And fourth, with that late race penalty being applied from lap 1, Mauro Engel, Lukas Stoltz and Fabian Schiller. Raffaele Marciello, Jules Gounod and Timo Bogoslawski fifth, and the champions ahead of Ayanshun Guven, Sven Muller and Christian Engelhardt in sixth. Alessio Rovera, Robert Schwartzman, Nicholas Nielsen, winners in Barcelona. The champagne sprayed, the celebrations are underway. We have our Endurance Cup champions heading to the podium. They are Timo Bogoslawski, Raffaele Marciello and Jules Gounod, and the team principal, Jérôme Poliquin, joins them. The car sits beneath the podium. The drivers are up there, and the whole team, I think mechanics, engineers, the whole brains trust that's guided them through to 2 victories this year and to the title. Endurance Cup champions overall for 2023, Jules Gounod, Raffaele Marciello and Timo Bogoslawski.